Welcome everyone. This is session 17. 2 mantras. Do no harm. No harm to others. No harm to yourself. Do well. Do well by others. Do well for yourself. 2 commitments. Follow the 2 mantras. Alright. Last time we talked about true friend. A true friend, somebody who's there for you, the highs, the lows, everything in between. You can count on that person implicitly. Now you should know that the best way to get a true friend is actually to be a true friend. If it doesn't get reciprocated, and we've spoken about this multiple times, then you're on to the next possible true friend. If you can't find a true friend, for whatever reason or reasons, here I am, if you're a good person. Okay, now we'll talk about today's topic. This one is compromise, acceptance, and let it go. All right, let's talk about first compromise. Consider 2 trees, pretty close to each other. They're close because they have a lot in common. There's a core there. But what you want, the trunks are close together, but what you want is the branches to come together on a 45-degree angle. So here's the trunk, these are the branches. Okay. This is the compromise. They're getting 45%, they're giving up 45%. We talked about that too. Give and take, give and take. If it's like this guy has the advantage. If it's like this guy has the advantage. What you want is you want it where it's as equal as it possibly can be. That's a true compromise. Okay, it's a lot more complicated than that, or it can be a lot more complicated than that, but in essence, that's really the logic. You give up something and you get something, but the core has to be there, otherwise you're too far apart and they'll never come together. Okay, now let's go on to acceptance. Acceptance is really embodied in the fact that everybody has limitations, including yourself. So if you look at it this way, it might be easier to resolve. The way to accept reality is to revise your expectations. So let me give you an example. You got a guy in his 20s, it's July 4th, he goes to a party. He meets an attorney in her 30s, he gets her number. Okay. Later on that night, he goes with his buddy, watching fireworks, he meets an 18-year-old au-pair girl, gets her number too. Okay. He takes each one of them out on a date, same location but different times. He has an expectation of the 30-something attorney, number 7, on a rank of 1 to 10. Reality comes in at 5. He had her for 7, comes in at 5, he's disappointed. Goes out with the 18-year-old au-pair, well, their expectation is of 3. Oddly enough, reality comes in at 5, the same 5. He's elated, he had a great time. He ended up going out with the 18-year-old, which really didn't make any sense at all. He was really more well-suited to the 30-something-year-old attorney. That's a classic case of expectations versus reality. Reality was the same for both women, but the one better suited was the one that was closer to him, age-wise, mental-wise, so on and so forth. So revise your expectations to better suit reality. It helps because then you're not constantly disappointed. All right, let's talk about let it go. Let it go is a little complicated. It sounds easy. Oh yeah, it's not a problem, I'll let it go. Well, if it was that easy, you wouldn't have to deal with it in the first place. But let me give you 3 examples. One example is something that happened in your past, but it comes up every day. It's hard to deal with. Okay? A second example, and I'll elaborate on that. A second example is something that's occurring every day, but you can't escape that situation. How do you deal with that? The third example is something that you should let go, but you keep working on it. You keep bringing it into your life when it doesn't belong in your life. So let me give you a concrete example. The first one is a situation where a family member borrows money from another family member and unbelievably takes advantage and pretty much bankrupts the one family member who gave the money out. Well, you can imagine the devastating effect. It's still a relative, you still have to deal with that, and financially you're in a completely different situation. And you're reminded of it every day, because every day you know you're in a completely lesser situation. Well, what do? Well, you say, you know what, I am part of the reason why this situation happened. I'm going to own that. I'm also going to realize that dwelling on that, even though I see the impact and feel the impact every day and it's so devastating, it isn't going to solve it if I just focus on that. The better thing is to take that negative energy, turn it into positive energy and say, you know what, this is the new reality. Will I get back to where I was financially? Do I need to get back there? Can I get farther than where I was before? But focus on that. Don't dwell on what happened, because it happened already. Your intention was good. It backfired. Don't do it again. Deal with it. The way to let it go is how you survive and how you go forward. So let it go and move on. Okay. Second example, you talk about a recurring situation. Now, let's say you have somebody who takes care of an elderly parent. There's other siblings, but conveniently they don't do their part. So you're stuck if you're the one taking care of their elderly parent. Or relish in the fact that you're doing a wonderful deed. You're taking care of somebody who took care of you when you were young. You didn't ask for it, but you didn't ask to be born, but you were born and they took care of you. Well, now you're reciprocating. Okay? You're doing what you should be doing. It's honorable. It's not easy. That's why the other siblings aren't around. But feel good that what you're doing is wonderful and make the best of it. And don't be bitter, and don't realize or think that you're getting screwed because you're getting a bad deal. It's great that you stood up and you took on the challenge. It's not going to last forever, but deal with it. Okay? Let the anger part, the angst go, and appreciate what you're doing. Okay, here's a third example. You have a relationship. It takes two, by the way, for a relationship to work. It only takes one to kill a relationship. Well, if a relationship isn't working, you have to know at some point when to let it go, when to stop bringing it in. It's almost analogous to a scab. You cut your hand and you get a scab. Well, if you keep picking at the scab, it, in theory, will never heal. You know, you're over the girl, and then you pick at the scab and it starts all over again. You keep reintroducing new data, new angst in a situation that you should really let go. That's how you move forward. Okay, so to recap, compatibility, you want to be like this. You want to touch. So you give up 45%, you get 45%. You have enough in common where it makes sense to get together to begin with, whether it's the social realm or the business realm. Acceptance. Acceptance is, this is the situation. Be proud of it. That's what you do. You just revise your expectations so that reality and expectations come into line, and then you don't get disappointed. In fact, if you really want to do a good job, make your expectations a little bit lower than what you think reality is going to be. Then you'll be pleasantly surprised. Okay. Let it go. Let it go is take circumstances and situations, put them to the side. Don't make it front and center so that it rules your life. Make it be part of your life. Honor it, but don't let it control you. Take the upper hand. All right, that's it. So next time, a twist. So take care and see you next time.